Alright, hello everyone and welcome. So today we're going to be talking about what the heck is going on with Spiral Knights. Now this is the game that most of you who are subscribed, I believe, have subscribed for. I think it's something like 2/3 of people have subscribed for Spiral Knights, which is a pretty significant subset. What's going on with the game? Where are the videos at? That's a common question. There's nothing to make videos on, I'm sorry. I've made videos on everything that I could. I've done all the shadow layers. I've recorded every single danger mission, and not all of them have been uploaded for the reason of some of them were very boring. I've done a bunch of different challenge runs. About 2/3, I would say, did not get uploaded because they're too boring. Point is, I've run through a lot of content in this game, and actually let's just click over here real quick. I've played for 3,300 hours. If I could say that I've played this game a lot, I think that's an understatement. I've played it way too much. And so it's acceptable that the game is out of content for me, because how the hell did it have this much to begin with? I don't know. I think a huge portion is just the community. It's a really great community. There's a lot of people that I liked interacting with, but there's nothing new. It's just not happening. I think I put out a video... August 2019 was our last content update where we got new arcade floors with the treasure vaults, we got the trinket, the promissory note, got the weapon, finally the win million line. It was very cool. And most importantly, we got, oh wow, shadow layers are scaled to 6-star gear right now. Maybe they'll add it. I thought even back then there was a low chance that they added it, but there was a chance. It wasn't 0%. Like, if they'd added 6 stars 2 years ago, I would have been surprised, but I wouldn't have been like, wow, there's no way I thought that would happen. No, I thought there's a real chance. Now there's no way. If they release 6 stars now, great, I'd be happy to eat those words, but I think we're done getting content for this game. And I hope they prove me wrong. So yeah, basically this is where I finally acknowledge yes after years and years of people asking me, do you think Spiral Knights is dying? And me saying, no, because the player base is very active and they might release content. I will finally acknowledge yes, the game is dying. There is not content coming. It's not been happening. There's also been plenty of proof that the development team just does not like their player base. I think that's been well established even long before this, but I think now we can pretty safely say, yeah, it's just not happening. For those who are confused by what I mean about that, there's been so many weird situations with the development team in this game where, I'm not talking about like the original team, but I'm talking 5-6 years ago. You might have noticed some player events were hosted that crashed servers. That's happened numerous times. I've hosted multiple events that have crashed the servers myself. And in no cases did we get assistance for this. There's been times where I've asked like, hey, it's probably going to crash the server. Can you help me split up players so that it doesn't? Or like add an instance, because I know that's actually a thing that can be done. Every time I've had the response of no, and then it crashes the servers. It's like, okay, well great. We knew this was going to happen, and then the event's ruined. That happens consistently. Or happened. Now I don't bother holding events anymore because of that. So there was some drama in the player base recently as well, where I won't go into too much detail. There's a whole thing about it. You can find it out yourself. You probably just go on the Spiral Knights Discord. I'm sure someone will be happy to tell you. But most of it was acceptable. The only thing I take issue with is that they issued an NDA for one player. The player said, okay, fine, I'll remove this content. So they complied with this NDA, and then they still got banned anyways. So they got unbanned afterwards, but like, you make your player comply with an NDA, they say, okay, I'll do it, and then you ban them? That doesn't make any sense. What? Also, a personal thing that happened was years and years ago. Some of you will remember the prismatic bolted V's supply depot sale where they accidentally listed 750 prismatic bolted V's for 0 energy. And people were just kind of having fun with it. Like, people were buying mass prismatic volted V's. It's not like you can NPC them. They're exactly worthless. They're worth 0 crowns. And in response to a mistake that they made, instead of, like, just fixing it, they fixed it and then banned people who bought it more than a certain number of times. So I think if you bought, like, the V's more than 10 times, then you just got banned. So I got permanently banned for that, despite having no warnings before. And then they had me write in not just 1, but 2 apology, like, mini essay thing. It was weird. It was really weird. So at first I sent in a support ticket like, hey, I don't actually know 100% why I'm banned here. I just see that I'm banned. Can you please help me with this? And like, yeah, you bought the prismatic bolted V, so we permanently banned you. Like, oh, okay, but I figured because it's in the shop and I just clicked the buy button and it's not a thing that you can transfer to crowns, and then you also fixed it the next day, that'd be fine. So, sorry? And then they sent me back a response that wasn't a very convincing apology or something along those lines. We need a better apology. So, okay, I'll write another apology up. And then that was also not deemed acceptable, so I wrote another apology. And then they finally were like, okay, we see that you're sorry for what you've done. We'll unban you. This is all because of a mistake that they made, by the way, setting up the Supply Depot sale. And players just like buying this because, oh, that'll be funny. It has no impact on the game. It has no impact on the economy. It's just there. What the hell? Like, that's just bizarre. What I'm trying to say is that I have zero faith in the development team, because the development team now is the same as the support team was back then. They're the same people. And that sounds very cruel, for obvious reasons, but I've never said that about a game before, and this is really the only case where I've seen such egregious examples. So, a mix of that and us just not seeing updates makes me believe, yeah, there's no longer going to be a game in a few years, is my guess. I'd say 3 years from now, we probably won't have Spiral Knights. And so what does that mean? Well, first of all, why, if there's so much content in the game, why do I think the game will actually be dying? And the main thing is the servers. I think the content in the game, despite being a little less than it could have been, is still adequate. However, the game is almost unplayably laggy at times, and it's getting worse with every day. I mean, I tried to go in there recently and play a, oh, haha funny 2 DVS 2 claw loadout. That'll be a fun video, right? I couldn't play it. It was so laggy. Like, every minute I'd have a couple times when my game would just freeze up for a couple seconds. And I was asking a friend, like, is this normal? I haven't played a lot recently, but what's going on here? And he said, yeah, that just happens now. What? You can't... It's a game about not getting hit. You can't just have it lag for 2 seconds at a time. That's not okay. So yeah, basically I figure at some point there's this critical mass of lag where if it continues to get worse, the game just won't be playable. I mean, the only reason it's still going is there's probably whales who are buying some of the promo boxes, right? But with promo boxes, we face another problem, where there's not even new cosmetics. So previously there was a stretch where there was no new content. But this is a little worse, because the cosmetics are actually reasonably, I shouldn't say easy to do, but it's doable enough that there's so many player-made creations. I mean, if you look on the Discord, on the creations channel, holy cow, people have made some cool stuff. And that's just on their own time. They've made things that look like you could put them straight into the game, people would buy these, and some people are saying, oh yeah, I made this in like a day. If someone can put together a set of items that would be usable as a promo item set in a day, it makes me wonder what the heck the development time is actually being spent on anymore. If there is any. There might not be any, which is... okay, fair enough. If you think you're not going to get any return for that investment, I get it. But let's just keep scrolling through this list here and see when the last new promo was actually made. Because I believe it's definitely been more than a year. I think it's been close to 2, though. It's been a very long time. So if we just scroll through all of this... wow, yeah, nothing in 2020 at all. So in 2019 at some point is when the last new promo was. Is it this Shadow Tech stuff? I think this might be it. I believe this wasn't a re-release, so December 2019 is what we're looking back to. That's a long time. So even if you've got your whales who are buying content, at some point they will have what they want. You need to have new content to entice whales, unless you're somehow getting a constant flow of new ones. But getting new players into a game like Spiral Knights is difficult. The early game is boring, not really advertised anywhere anymore, and it's an old game. That's a tough set of requirements to get a player into, especially when there's server lag involved. So I don't think it's sustainable. I hope I'm wrong. Okay, I also just want to make it perfectly clear here. If you're still playing Spiral Knights and you still enjoy the game, please do continue. The game is still phenomenal at its core. There's a great player base, great mechanics, it's just good. Right? As long as you can get past the lag problems that it's going to be having, and the fact that there won't be new content, most likely, by all means, please do keep playing. There's a lot to like here. Now, what if you're like me and you've played too much of it already, you've gone through everything, what the heck else is there to play? I would personally recommend 2 games to everyone who has enjoyed Spiral Knights, and I think you'll all like them. Enter the Gungeon and Hades. Gungeon started out absolutely terrible on its launch. The mechanics were bad, the RNG was bad, it wasn't very good. And then they made update after update, gave the ton of love into this game, and oh my god, it's fantastic. I think Enter the Gungeon is the best top-down roguelike on the market. I think absolutely everyone should buy it, regardless of their preferences, and yeah, the game is just fun. It's so good. You can also play co-op with a friend if you want to. I mean, the single player is where I spent most of my hours, but the co-op's certainly fun too. Secondly, Hades. This one's single player only, a lot more story-driven than Gungeon, where Gungeon is very light on the story. Hades is largely encouraged by it, where a lot of your actions in time are going to be trying to feed into story progression. Now, it says that I've played 21 hours of Hades. You can add 200 to that, because I played on a beta server for a lot of my time, or not a server, but a beta platform, I should say, and then recently rejoined when the game launched, and the 21 hours are just since the official launch. Really good game. I think it's not quite the gameplay masterpiece that Gungeon is, but it's by far the best story roguelike, if that makes any sense. I don't think story roguelikes are really a thing normally, but Hades is, and you should try it, and you will probably enjoy it. Okay, those two out of the way, what about games that are just something that I enjoy? Well, personally, Rhythm Doctor is my pick for a rhythm game. If you like rhythm games, you're gonna like Rhythm Doctor. Just go play it. Okay. Secrets of Grindia. If you've got a group of people, you have at least 2 of you, buy this. Good co-op game, great story mode, criminally underrated, and criminally underpriced. I don't know why this game is as cheap as it is, but for all the content you get, wow, it's cheap. It's kind of like if you've ever played those old top-down Legend of Zelda games like Four Swords. It's like that, but more RPG focused. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is the game is fun, and you want to play it with friends. It's not as good alone, but with friends it's great. Super Animal Royale. Okay, wow, this looks like a Flash game. It sure does. I also didn't think I would like this game nearly as much as I do. I'm not really a fan of the Battle Royale genre in general, so that's why it should be pretty encouraging to hear that I love this game. I think it is fantastic. The gunplay is good. The mechanics are on point though. The movement just feels great. You have to perfectly time dodge rolls to move around as fast as possible. The games are also pretty fast. They're like 7 to 10 minutes, so you can expect to just drop in and play a little bit and drop out whenever you want. Fun game, and I'd honestly recommend it. Also, it's coming to consoles soon, so if you start now when you're on PC, you'll have a bit of an edge when all the players start on consoles. Would recommend, if you're playing at all, to just play now, and then a month from now you'll be a god. Okay, and for the more hardcore crowd out there, Vagant is so much fun. As long as you're with friends, it's another one of those ones where you want at least one other person with you, because a lot of this game is, it's about the moments that you experience, more than about reaching the end of the game. In fact, the final boss, very unsatisfying in my opinion. But the game itself, as you go along, is just so much fun. Also, you'll die, like so many times. You might start your first game up, take one step to the right, and then instantly die. That's going to happen at some point in time. So be warned, if you're into a more hardcore, platformy, roguelike experience, try Vagant with a friend. Don't play it alone. I think that about does it for me though, so most likely videos moving forward, if there are any, I don't know. I really am quite busy in life a lot of the time, but sometimes it's just fun to make a video or something. I think they'll be on other games. So I've got a Hades one out, I've got a Gungeon one, I've got a couple Hades ones. Probably gonna do something for Animal Royale, and maybe for Vagant. I have no idea if this is the kind of game that translates well to a video. Maybe. I'll also probably do a playthrough of Rhythm Doctor on double speed at some point, and so if you want to tag along for that, that's most likely going to be streamed on Twitch instead, if I ever decide to actually stream on Twitch. That almost never happens. I think I've done like 2, but hey, if I do, that's where it'll be. Thank you all for sticking around for this though. I mostly just wanted to give an update on Spiral Knights, but I guess I kind of delved into something more afterwards. I really appreciate all of you watching though, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.